tonight we're coming with a special live broadcast from Earthmatters, a very special organic supermarket here on Ludlow Street in the East Village of New York City. And sitting next to me, I have Seth Schwable. I hope I said that correct.
Really?
Pretty good for first time,
That's great.
Seth, who's the night manager here. And Seth's going to give us a little information about Earthmatters. It's quite a unique space here in New York City. And so, Seth, what goes on here at Earthmatters? What type of food we have, and what kind of clientele do we frequent this establishment?
Well, we've formed a niche in this neighborhood in the Lower East Side. We specialize in organic food. We have delicious food in our deli section. We have an all-organic juice bar, as well as organic groceries, both in bulk and we have a produce section and supplements. And this store has been here in this neighborhood for 7 years, and in its infancy, before I even started working here, it was a very different neighborhood. And the owners came with an idea to introduce something that wasn't common or familiar in the Lower East Side, and it's really taken root. We have loyal, dedicated customers who come into the store every day. They love what we have to offer here, and I think really it's a grassroots program where there's a great word of mouth, and people come here because people become more and more interested in their health and their well-being. It's a very soothing atmosphere. It's a great place to hang out, do some shopping.
I mean, it's great here. You have a little upstairs.
We have
area
a gallery
here,
upstairs.
A gallery here, and people can sit and enjoy and hang out with each other. We see in the background a few people here on laptops and enjoying it. The food, you say, is raw food? Is it raw food?
It's
is
a
it
mix.
exclusively raw food? So what type of food? What does it completely cover? Is
Our
it vegan,
specialty
vegetarian?
is organic food. All of our food here is organic. We have both raw and cooked food. We have vegan and non-vegan food. More and more vegans come to us in the neighborhood. The neighborhood is undergoing gentrification, and this is really the center for people who are interested in eating a healthier diet.
Right.
So we have several options. And starting in mid-November, we're actually going to have a raw breakfast brunch. So people can come here for a special menu for the raw foodies out there. And we also are doing a raw juice cleanse program. We're doing these because we've noticed that these two services are becoming more and more in demand.
Yeah.
And this is the place to get that in the neighborhood.
Absolutely. And would you say over the years it's a growing phenomenon? Are more people in this area? I mean, we always associate the Lower East Side with a trendier, hippier crowd. Would you say that there are more people interested in vegetarian and raw food than perhaps has ever been?
Definitely. I've actually seen bartenders. Anyone who's familiar with the Lower East Side realizes that it's a big night spot. There's a lot of bars here, a lot of great venues for live music, and I've actually seen some of the bouncers and some of the local bartenders change their diet just by starting work in the neighborhood.
Right.
They've come to recognize this food is good, and they feel better when they're eating it. And so you'll have people who go from Popeyes to raw kale and beet salad.
And this ideal place, your vegetarian friends can come, enjoy their vegetarian or vegan food, and then try and dabble in some raw food. I know you have some delicious selections available downstairs, and they can come up here and enjoy the experience. What days are you open, and what times are you open till here?
We're open every day. We open from 8 to midnight. On Sundays, we're open from 8 to 11.
Okay, that sounds really great. So we'd like to encourage you all support. We need to support. This show is all about community and building community, and we feel like it's about time we all started supporting each other. That not only have been around a number of years, 8 years, and
Right.
Congratulations. It's always an achievement to stay in business in New York City for sure, and come down and enjoy Seth and his dishes, and come enjoy Earthmatters. So I want to thank you, Seth, very much.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll see you at Earthmatters. and we're going to take a little quick break, and we're going to be bringing in our second guest, Robert Dyckman. Welcome back. I'm Kevin Schuker, and sitting next to me I have Robert Dyckman. Robert was a featured lecturer at the recent New Life Expo held here in New York City. And if you go to our site, QUEST.TV, you'll see that we recorded a lot of workshops over that weekend, and they are becoming available over the next few days, and will be up. All those workshops will be up for your viewing as pay-per-views. And Robert was talking about his background in raw food. Robert is a ex-graduate of MIT, which I have to say,
yes,
to show you that we are smart people out here who are raw foodists. And Robert is also one of the largest community builders here in New York, running a New York-based raw food community of about 1,200 people. And he's going to be talking to us a little bit about the challenges that he's met and how to build a raw community group. First of all, Robert, welcome to QUEST.TV. It's great to have you here.
It's great to be here on your inaugural event here at Earthmatters.
It's great, very exciting. And tell us a little bit. I know you were at the New Life Expo at the weekend. What was your topic, and what were you talking about at the New Life Expo?
Well, generally when I talk about health, and my background for the last 9 years, I've been a raw fooder myself, so that's been the program that I've been following. So that's generally what I speak about as a really effective tool to create health in your life. It's just one aspect, but it's a very important aspect that I believe we have full control over. So that's what that particular talk was about. And actually, I know that you mentioned that you didn't get me on tape on this one. We were talking about that earlier, but the Yoga and Raw Food Expo, I participated in a panel discussion, which I believe is still on the QUEST.TV. Yeah, and that was great. I really enjoyed doing that, and it looks great. And so I encourage you, obviously, to check out the archives here and take a look at that one too.
Sounds great. Now, just a little background on you, Robert. How long have you been a raw fooder? How did you get introduced to it? What was the motivating force behind that?
Well, it's been about coming up on 9 years now. So the process of going raw was pretty immediate. I didn't do the sort of standard to vegetarian to vegan. I didn't follow that path. I pretty much went standard to raw. It kind of hit me like that. Although I must say that I had already removed dairy. And that was the one key that I had already done something to shift my diet, which made me think that a shift in diet can actually help more things, increase the energy, increase brain functioning, and all of those other things. And that's actually the real reason that I continued forward, was not that making a change in diet was an end unto itself, but it was what that could bring to the rest of my life. How I could use it as an effective tool to increase my ability in other areas. And at that time I was performing as an actor and working as a director as well. So it was to increase that area of my life and keep myself on the top of my game.
And I know there's a lot of different ways to teach how to become a raw foodist. I'm kind of a little bit like you. I heard about it and I just jumped straight in. How do you feel that compares to people who want to change? Do you feel you got for me, I felt like just making that change made it so much more simpler to just do, rather than trying to space it out over a long period of time. How did your friends, family, what was their reaction when you made this drastic decision in your life?
It was just another change. I mean, actually we had a couple of great events recently in the area, and a couple of folks came by, including Happy Oasis and Ron Van. You may know those folks, and
Ron.
they both have created such amazing things in their lives, and you know, they're sort of you might say that they sort of flow against conventional wisdom,
Right.
And I feel that that's a part of me as well. You know, I have that sort of that in me, and I think Ron used the term contrarian actually.
All right, that's good.
But it wasn't necessarily, you know, even though throughout the years I've sort of questioned the conventional wisdom, and I encourage that in everybody. Just, you know, if there's something that's not giving you the results that you want, question it, you know, and see, you know, just ask, you know, is there another way to do this that would be more effective? And, you know, that's kind of how when I approach folks that I'm coaching or in a training session, it's, you know,
Right.
with the questioning to find out what's effective.
What is your experience? What do people remark as perhaps are their greatest challenges? Is there anything that seems to come up?
Well, you know,
people?
you kind of hit upon something before with the going into Raw, and you think you said you did it immediately as
Yeah.
well. I think that's so much easier.
Me too.
I really do, because the things that I come up with some of the folks who I'm coaching, or when I hear in like the support groups and things like that, is that the folks who are doing just a little bit, you know, or they're trying to, you know, they're keeping a little bit of cooked food and a little bit of raw and all of that, they seem to be the ones who slide back more often. I mean, if I were to do, you know, obviously I haven't done a scientific study of the numbers of folks who fall back and all that kind of stuff.
Sounds like a good MIT study.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that one at some point. But really, you know, to be able to make a decision and like close that door, I think is absolutely freeing. You know, just release that part of the past and move forward. And I think that gives you the freedom to open up new doors.
Right, and do you, in your personal coaching, do you encourage people more on the green side, the fruit side, or do you just bring it all together? Do you have any preference in how people could transition easier?
Well, both of those sides, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, I think fruits and greens are very important. And I say increase, well, my mentor, who is an extremely experienced and wonderfully knowledgeable person. His name's Dr. Douglas Graham. You may have maybe familiar with him.
We just recorded a workshop with Dr. Graham, and that's available on QUEST.TV. That's up there. I don't know if it's up there right now, but it's going up very, very shortly. We did a 2-hour workshop with him out in New Jersey, and he's quite a fantastic speaker.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But he talks a lot more about eating fruit I know he talks about greens as well, but he talks a lot about fruit. And in that respect, he's been somewhat controversial, I would say, in the raw food community. But we agree with his message. It seems he's a very motivational kind of speaker. So you follow him as a more of a guideline?
I believe that I was very lucky to hear his message early on. Basically, in the first year that I went raw, after a couple of months of, it's great if it's raw, no matter what, you know. Right. I kind of got grounded in the principles by hearing him speak about nutrition and, you know, pretty much the basics. So I'm very grateful for his influence and continued support throughout the years.
Yeah, what I like about Dr. Graham is he tends to work with athletes a lot. I kind of term myself a former athlete, I guess. I don't do competitive athletics these days. But to work with athletes, and so that athletes can see that they can improve their performance by eating this type of diet. And also I think there's a little component of the fruitarian side of that as well, in that other people we've interviewed, if a person is very athletic, excuse me, they seem to be able to handle sugars a lot more, perhaps because they're burning a lot more sugar. Whereas if a person is more sedentary, or not quite so active, I kind of encourage them to go more of the green side of things, so they don't have too much sugar in their blood. So one of the things I really admire about Dr. Graham is his ability to work with, I believe he's worked with Martina Navratilova,
yes.
and I can't remember who he was saying, but I know some other great athletes. What type of people in your coaching practice do you work with? Anyone and everyone? Is that
that would be a very good description? Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
And how about people with families? Let's say you're working with a family, because we know sometimes one person in the family, one of the parents, may be interested in changing their diet. Do you ever work with the whole family and how to bring them in, the people who seem a little bit more resistant?
Well, having a support network is very important in making this transition. And you mentioned the family, and family is, for a lot of people, their primary source of influence.
Right.
The primary circle of influence is family.
Because I know for me, when I sort of started making changes, I lost a lot of friends and I lost family members who really couldn't take this idea very well and sort of couldn't come with me on the journey. Now, for me, 10 years later, I'm finding they're coming back now, but there was a time of separation and perhaps not a lot of understanding. I was wondering, in your coaching practice, do you see that type of experience? I feel it's one of the things that can put people off becoming a raw foodist.
Well, absolutely, absolutely. And I have worked with folks to work on what's going on inside as well. Because like you said, certain folks sort of drifted away for a little while and then they've come back. I think that's also a large part of how we feel about ourselves and the way we present ourselves. So I think it's very important, to get the thoughts very powerful, and to get that clear, crystal clear, on what changes we want to make in our lives for our health, for our overall health. Because I believe, deep down, I believe that all of us and everyone, wants other folks to succeed, wants to be healthy and happy,
right.
And that love energy is there, so we can embrace that, and know that, to be able to clearly say to other folks that, this is a decision that I need to make for my health. And I think that people would embrace that, and you as well.
I mean, I found when I was when I would talk to families, to parents who wanted to get their children eating a little bit better, one of the first things I tell them is to get their kids drinking fresh squeezed lemonade, and to always have fresh squeezed lemonade, and get them away from the sodas and the sweetened juices, and then the feedback I get back is that the kids start to really enjoy the fresh squeezed lemonade, and in fact when they have their friends come over, they start asking mom and dad for fresh squeezed lemonade. So for all parents out there, I think that's a great place to start, and it's so American, and everybody loves lemonade stands. And the other thing I sort of encourage these days is, what was for me, I like crispy, crunchy type of things. Potato chips was a really tough thing to have to deal with, something to munch on. And I'd encourage dehydrator. Get a dehydrator early. I didn't get my dehydrator early, but by being able to make crispy, crunchy things that I can nibble on while I'm watching TV, I found that's great for me. And also, families seem to say that the kids seem to enjoy that. I was wondering if you had little hints or little secrets that you could pass on to some of our viewers that you find work for people.
Well, I mean, if you mention kids, kids really love fruit.
Kids love fruit.
The vibrant color and the sweetness of it. So that's always an easy way in, as well. And basically, I was starting to say before, the one little phrase of Dr. Graham's was increase the percentage of fruit and vegetables.
Right.
No
matter
what,
just
increase.
Yeah.
So from everybody's position, no matter where on the spectrum of diet, someone might be,
yeah.
They can eat a little more.
They can always eat a little bit better. No matter where they are,
yeah.
They can eat a little bit better. I think that's a great advice. Now, as far as, let's say we had somebody out there watching who may have been a raw foodist, they're starting, they're in a small community, they're all by themselves, nobody's speaking to them anymore, their family aren't inviting them to any more parties, and they've got no one to talk to. How would somebody perhaps go about starting a raw food group? What are the challenges? How could they market it? What is any insight you have on that side of it?
Well, luckily we have this little tool called the internet,
Which is always good.
which has been phenomenal for disseminating information. So one of the, I mean, obviously one of the main things that I do is organize the raw food meetup group. And meetup.com was started several years ago, and I've actually inherited this group. It had been started a few years back, and so I've recently taken over the group, and it's just a wonderful tool to connect with other folks. Now, I'm the organizer of the New York City meetup group, but there are meetups throughout the country as well. So, first of all, if you happen to be in that zone,
place.
that
That
place,
raw food
that
place.
raw food place there, I encourage you to check online. See if there's a meetup group, somewhere in your area that you could get to, and see what kind of events they're hosting, and check it out. It also has we have an online forum as well, so you can get on some discussion boards and talk to some folks. So you can at least have a connection via the online. Although, from my perspective, when I joined as a member first a few years back, basically the way I looked at it was the online is the tool to be able to go offline, to be able to have that one-on-one,
Right,
face-to-face kind of thing, or in a large group setting, with other people who are following a path that may be similar to yours. Just because I think it's important to have that connection.
Yeah.
And I really think that that's part of the reason why we're here on this planet anyway, is to be able to connect with other people.
Exactly. And there's, how about organizing workshops? I know you present workshops. Do you also organize speakers to attend workshops? How would somebody do that? Who do they call up? How do they find out about somebody? Do they look in the back of a book? Do they look on the internet? How have you approached, first of all, promoting yourself as a presenter, and secondly, how would you find a workshop leader to perhaps come and talk to your group?
Okay, let me answer this last one first.
Certainly.
Basically, getting educated as for yourself, I think, is very important. So when you are reading different books, you find a book by someone that you can feel that you connect with, and all of that, you certainly can contact them.
Right.
Check if they have a website, see if they have some information to contact them. If they happen to be doing a tour in the area, see if they can schedule a date in your area, wherever that is.
Right.
That would be step number one, I think.
Do you find that you have to do that months in advance, or is it? I'm just trying to get an idea of the way it kind of works.
I guess it kind of. I would say it depends on your location.
Okay.
If you have I'm kind of lucky here. I feel, I'm in
New
New York
We're
City.
very lucky. There's always something going on.
There really is.
Yeah.
There really is.
Yeah.
So I actually just got an email today from someone who works with Dr. Gabriel Cousins, and he's going to be coming into town coming up very shortly. So, so I get emails like that from speakers who are coming into New York.
Absolutely.
But if you happen to be in an area where where folks aren't necessarily coming through, but you want to start promoting that, I think contacting them directly and saying, look, I'd like to sponsor an event with you. Will you be coming through on these areas, or can you come through?
Yeah.
I think that was actually how Happy Oasis was talking about starting the Raw Spirit Festival.
Right, the other night.
She read three people's books,
Right.
and then contacted them all about coming together, and they all said yes.
Right.
And she had, there was the makings of that event.
Right.
So, that's certainly a way that you could do it.
And on the other side of things, as a presenter, let's say the person's out there, they feel they have a little bit of information to share. How do you go about presenting your information? Do you have a format that you follow, or and then what avenues do you explore to get your message out?
Oh well, I have actually trained to do the training of folks. So again, getting educated, I think is very important on that. So if you're going to be presenting, I think you need to work on the presentation, know what you're talking about, and all that.
Is there any way that people who may not feel confident with that they could find other people to work together? I know you say you're trained in education, education programs. just some insight into that. What would you recommend? People say PowerPoint presentations, handouts, leaflets. What do you think works for people when they're first starting off?
Well, I think everything you just mentioned could work for somebody. I mean, those people use those different tools. So whatever you feel comfortable with.
Right.
You know, because when you're up in front of a group, you know, your demeanor, the way your comfort level is going to come across to the folks that you're presenting to. And obviously you're going to be presenting about something that you're passionate about. So just whatever tools help you to make an organized presentation, whether it's a PowerPoint, whether it's handwritten notes, handouts to folks, you know, any of those tools can be used, but it's what you're comfortable with so that you can get your message across.
Right. And as a leader really in this community, what is your insight as to how the community is building? Do you see more people coming in? I mean, I've sort of been in and out for 10 years, and it's sort of, you see like a little sharp increase, and everyone gets, hey, it's going to happen, and then it sort of dips down a little bit. I feel like we're on a little upswing again now. What sort of feedback do you get from your community, and how do you see your community growing?
Well, I agree that I think we're in a bit of an upswing at the moment. I think we could be doing a little bit better with longevity. So, you know, just being able to, you know, bring the folks in is wonderful. I think that, you know, giving a program that helps with longevity, so, you know, really instilling right from the get-go principles of raw food nutrition that, you know, create a sustainable energy and sustainable lifestyle, you know, and also focusing on not just on food but on other aspects of health, you know, all the other things that are necessary, the sunlight, water, air, everything we could list,
Sure.
You know, loving relationships and all of those sort of things.
Sure. So, just sort of like rounding up, is there any way that anybody could contact you? You have a web address, I presume, of course.
Yes.
Everyone has a web address?
Absolutely. And also, basically, you know, I mean, we could talk for hours, I suppose, on a lot of these topics. And again, I'm grateful to have this opportunity to speak with you. And while we're here, I was actually speaking with, you mentioned that you filmed Dr. Graham recently, and he was also in New York City. And he's actually given a special offer, which I want to offer to folks on the web, the QUEST.TV here. We're going to... You want to hold that up, and maybe we can focus on this offer here. So Dr. Graham's website is foodandsport.com, and so he's giving a special offer because, I mean, I believe that getting educated right from the start is very, very important. So he's got a lot of great books, CDs, DVDs, and informational material that, you know, would be very wonderful both for folks just starting out and the folks who are, you know, a little bit along their path but needing a little bit more inspiration.
And this is Dr. Graham?
This is for Dr. Graham, and it's a special offer. Yeah. So the first offer is if you spend, you can get $50 off any purchases over $200, between $200 and $399, and you use this code when you go online, Book Special 08, and then you can get $100 off any purchase of $400 or more. Use this code Deluxe 08, so Deluxe 08.
Okay.
So, and this is good till the end of this month, so till October 31st. So go ahead and check that out. And for me,
and just want to add, I mean, we saw Dr. Graham, and his work is incredible, and books and videos and DVDs. And for all you, I just think for all you sports people out there, this is the guy, as far as I'm concerned, who knows about sports and nutrition. And if you're a sports person, you're thinking going raw, and you think it's going to be challenging, Doug Graham's the man to really connect with, and his information. So that's fantastic. And what else?
And then to contact me, and also basically the first one. The first one here is the Raw Food Meetup, and that's at the http://rawfood.meetup.com/12. So I hope you can see that nice and clearly there.
A lot of slashes there.
All the slashes and .coms and things.
Exactly.
So that's number one. So you can check out the meetup site there. We have a list of all the upcoming events, as well as, like I said before, the discussion forum. then if you want to get on my mailing list, you can send me an email to info@actingconsciously.com. That's my website, actingconsciously.com, and just put mailing list in the subject. Or number 3 way is to check out www.actingconsciously.blogspot.com. That's my blog. So you got that there.
And we'll also be having Robert's information and the email address and everything up on our website, up at QUEST.TV. So I want to thank you again, Robert. It was great here to do our first broadcast out of Earthmatters. I want to thank the staff here at Earthmatters for their help and for treating us so well here this evening. And we look forward to bringing you many more shows out of this location and many more around New York City. So for QUEST.TV, I'm Kevin Schuker. We thank Robert Dyckman, Seth Schwab, was it Schwab? I hope I got that right for the second time. Eric Choker behind the camera, and we're QUEST.TV. Thank you and good night.